this taxi.
Now I've actually got a bed inside this space.
Have to knock the back of the garage out to drive it in.
Back in we get.
For legal reasons. We have to call it that.
This is my taxi. Yes, I've got a taxi in the back of my garden. Fine, you might be asking me, why have I got a taxi in my back garden? The reason is, a good few years ago, when I first started my career as the Skinny Jean gardener, we had a project with Kew Gardens, and that project was to take a taxi around the country with a garden in the back. So we got this taxi sitting right here. Oh my gosh, what a mess. Oh, it's been a while. Oh, that was so... Oh, cosy. It's not cosy. To do that, we had to find a taxi, and lucky enough for me, where I was working at the time had this taxi. I know. I'm not even joking, it's been about 5 years since I've sat in the back here. Spiders everywhere. When you're given a taxi, you don't say no to the taxi. I was given a taxi, and this was going to be the thing that drove around the country inspiring families from across the UK with a garden in the back. The only problem with that was there was about £10,000 worth of work that needed doing to said taxi, which was not in the budget to spend £10,000 on an old taxi. So we brought a new taxi, which left us with this taxi. The question obviously is, what do you do with an old taxi? Well, you drive it through this gap before the office was here, down this garden. Before obviously the trampoline and stuff was here. This is my own personal grand shed project. Come have a look. Now I've actually got a bed inside this space. As you can see, I've sort of stuck to the boutique bedroom scheme with blues and really brighten it up with the white and everything. And weirdly, it even got in the newspaper. It won, get this, it won Shed of the Year. It was once Shed of the Year.
Every 60 seconds, a man gets into an argument with his wife for coming up with a crazy idea for the garden. This is one of those men. Lee's idea was to turn this taxi into an outdoor space, having to knock the back of his garage out to drive it in.
You know, it's not just a taxi, it's like an entertainment space. There's a bed in here for the mother-in-law. That could have been... I probably shouldn't have said that.
The only way to prevent Lee from getting in any more trouble and give others the courage to do what they want in the garden is to vote for the taxi to win in this year's Shed of the Year.
We literally went in the paper with it and everything. It was an amazing space that we'd turned into a bedroom that nobody slept in, but it was here for anyone that wanted to sleep in it. And then it got turned into part of a space that I built for Olive down here, which she could enjoy and use for her friends. But basically this is our magical theme park garden for legal reasons.
We have to call it that.
So this is the view from the top. So we've got the taxi down there, which is painted up in black chalkboard paint. Bit of colour running through the middle. Then we've got our growing area going all the way round here. And these awesome, let's come down these steps. Back in we get. Come. Oh, don't get locked in, don't get locked in. Oh! And then in 2020, obviously COVID happened, and you'd think this space would thrive and we'd enjoy it, and we didn't. we didn't enjoy it. It just turned into, well, storage. In fact, it's in pretty bad condition, actually. It actually makes me really sad, because this used to be such a cool little area. When we used to have parties down here, our friends used to come in a taxi. It's like, oh, you've got a taxi, it's really cool. And now the space, well, it looks like this. That feels like such a shame to have this incredible thing, although some of my family think not so incredible. Incredible item, incredible, oh, what is it called? It's just a taxi, isn't it? Having this incredible feature at the end of our garden that we don't use anymore. People have talked about cutting it up, oh, we'll get rid of the taxi. And look, this is down to me, this is my fault, because I've not cared for it, so no one else cares for it. A little bit like garden, isn't it? If you've got a plant that you don't care about, no one else is going to care about it. Education there for you. You might be asking, why am I telling you this on the YouTube channel? Well, on this YouTube channel, I'm going to show you the growth and the transformation of this taxi over the coming months. It's not going to be a weekly thing, but I am going to get this done before the end of the year. So we'll get to see the full process. And hopefully, people will learn to love this taxi as much as I do. Bring it back to its former glory. And maybe make it shed of the year again. I mean, it's a taxi, so let's have a quick look at it. So this is a taxi, obviously. What needs doing? Okay, good question. Firstly, all of this needs to come off. We need to sand all of this down, get rid of all this colour. That was a bit of graffiti from me. We need to somehow fix this bit of rust down here. Also, give this a good old sand up. Basically, the body needs a real good... a bit of gardening as well on there. Get rid of that moss. The body needs some work doing to it. It's not going to be A-star, but it's going to look a lot better. Also, the roof. Look at this. The roof is looking rough. We need to do something to this. Just to bring it back to its former glory, sort of. Another thing we need to do is make sure that this is going to be watertight, as well as this. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this yet, but we need to bring that back and make that look something at least. And then we go in to the taxi. Oh, crikey. I've been thinking a lot what we can do in here. And one of the things I'd love to do is turn it into our very own cinema room taxi. Something that Olive can bring our friends down and we can have some films, some popcorn, and just enjoy the space. So, this is what we need to do. First things first is clear all of this stuff out. We don't need to keep this. This is not a shed. We're going to move the bed base, get rid of the bed base totally. Then down here, we're going to put a screen. There's going to be a screen that maybe rolls down, I'm thinking, for a projector to go on, because I want to keep hold of this fun bits here. I love having the steering wheel. That's the fun, cool part, isn't it? So I don't want to lose that. So maybe a roll down. We want to keep that window nice and bright. Along here, we're going to paint all of this black, a bit like a cinema. Paint the roof black as well. Maybe tidy up these little bits of rust that's coming through. On the back here, I want to try and do something with this. I've got some covers coming. Remove all of these stones. I'm not sure what they're all doing up there. What part of the project? Oh, it was meant to be beach. It was beach themed, weren't it? Remove the stones. We're going to black out this bit with some wood, and we're going to put a projector. We're going to fit a projector in there that's going to basically project right down there. Maybe a popcorn machine, maybe a few little bits of cinema history up here would be nice. But basically turn it into a home taxi cinema thing. As you'll see from my channel, over the next couple of weeks, I'm not going to have a chance to get into this, but maybe in December, I think, will be the time, which gives me a great opportunity to ask you, the viewer, what you think I can do to this taxi. What else can I add to it? to really make this space work. And maybe we could add that in there. That'd be really nice, wouldn't it? So join me on the Big Taxi. This feels like a Channel 4 programme. The Big Taxi renovation.